Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Jay and Nina. Your favorite celeb is not around, so I'll be, sitting in or standing in for her, as the case might be, or for the both of us. And I hope to God that you would be blessed mightily. Today, I would like to talk about something very important, and that is the topic of faith. Faith is generally, considered as what the Bible said, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith has been described and defined by so many people over the years, even based on the Word of God and then based on life situations. But then I'm going to look at it from a very practical point of view and from a point of view of surviving in difficult times, you needing faith to be able to survive in difficult times. I would like to share some personal experiences and also encourage somebody out there, even in your relationship, the role of faith in your personal life, in your career, in your academics, as the case might be. I would take some steps backward several years ago when I was in school in the university and I had some issues. I tell people there's no need sugarcoating it. I got into the university as a very, very smart, intelligent young man, and I felt I knew it all. So the physics and the chemistry that we were doing in secondary school, I just felt what's going to be the difference, maybe just a little extra, so I can as well miss my classes and then just lazy around. I wasn't the party type. I wasn't the one who would hang out with friends and all that in my school days, but I would just lazy back in my room and be on my bed. And my hostel is just next door to my faculty. For anyone listening to me now and the University of Benin or you've been in the University of Benin, all four, and then Faculty of Agriculture, they share fence. So I would be in my room, and then in that all four, I think the one close to agriculture is unit 2. I think unit 3 is inside. Unit 1 is the one close to faculty. Medical science. So I would be in my room in unit 2, and from my room I could see the main LT, the main lecture theater in agriculture, and then I would even see my physics lecturer walking, and I'm not just in the mood today. I want to just sleep, I want to rest, And then to cut a very, very long story short, after the first semester, we couldn't see our results until after the second semester. And then I discovered I had a lot of carryovers. Some persons don't know this. Some do. Some know the story very well. So I had a lot of carryovers. And then I looked at myself, okay, how am I going to do it? How do I survive? How do I make it out of this? It broke me. But I knew it was majorly my fault because I wasn't really there to listen to lectures and everything. And even when I'll go, I wasn't totally understanding and I wasn't making big effort to really understand what was going on. So I failed. And then I went to my 200 level and I had to write some 100 level courses. You have to register all the 100 level courses when you're in 200. And then so automatically I pushed some 200 level courses forward. And then I got to 300. So at 300, I was even writing 100, 200, and 300 level courses. And then automatically, I had to push some courses forward. And then moving from 300 level to 400 level in my school, in my department rather, there's a particular credit load that is required for you to move. And I didn't make that credit load. So I was required to take that level again. So I took my 300 level twice, and then those who were obviously in 200 level met me in the class. And it was really very, very terrible. Now, that period of time was also when I lost my dad. So now I'm back to school, and then I need to concentrate. I need to focus on my academics. At this point, I wasn't the dullard anymore. I think I'd learned to be serious. I was reading, but now there was the pressure of, losing my dad. And it all affected me, it all affected me. But I remember some persons who really, stepped up, and they were willing to help. They were willing to walk with me through the process. Of worthy mention is, what's his name? I think Odunayo. Then he was even in maybe 100 level or so. And then I had to move close to him because I was still writing 100 level courses, even at 300. So I had to move close to him to say, young man, you have to help me. He was also in my department. And then, help me, I need to know this thing. And then we would sit together, he would talk and try, and we'd go through questions. And I was able to make it at the end of the day. I would also like to mention Nelson Akogo. Nelson Akogo was my music director at the time, and then he also became one of the pastors in the fellowship in school. And he was very, very helpful. He would talk to me. He would let me understand that you can actually make it if you want to. Even at this point, you've failed, like you're one step behind, your peers have gone ahead of you, but you can still come out with something very good. You can come out with a very good grade. You can become the best if you want to. And then that spurred me on and challenged me. And then with close friends, Silva, Osai, and, we just kept reading and bombarding ourselves. And I had to walk through that process of the shame, the embarrassment, the fact that you're in class and your lecturers look at you, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in the other class, So, but through it all, with faith in God, which is the point of what I'm talking about today, with faith in God, I was able to make it. Now, we understand from the word of God that faith without works is dead. So I didn't just sit down and have a dreamy kind of faith. I just believe, I believe, and it is so. If you talk about prayers, we prayed in school. Trust me. For Christians in the university, you know how it is. For very serious Christians, and you are going for all the vigils, you're going for all the prayer meetings, you're attending conventions, you're attending camp, and you're praying. Like, your prayer life is really like up there. You wake up in the morning, you're blasting in tongues on the flyover and everywhere, So it wasn't about that. Apart from that, I had to also bring in the works. There were things I needed to do. This is academics. How do you resolve it? You need to read. You need to know it and pass. Because I was this kind of person that in the examination hall, I don't talk to anybody. Nobody talks to me. They've known like right from time. So as at the point I was getting to 400 level, 500 level, people don't even ask me questions in the hall because I don't talk right from time, and I will not ask you. So if I'm going to fail, I fail. If I'm going to get a C, I get the C. But, God was faithful. So I had to put in the reading. I had to put in the extra hours. I had to, from time to time, even, have classes with my colleagues. Would do some mock kind of classes, mock kind of presentation, even close to the final year, mock project kind of defense and all that. We just simulated that what it would be like normally, and then God was gracious unto us, and we made it through. And it was really by the grace of God. Now, this is to say that you're going through a situation at the moment that is hard, is difficult for you, and then you're thinking there is no way out. You can actually not make it. The truth is you can. And you will. Once you set your mind to it and you do everything that you need to do, there are things you need to put in place. You put them in place, and then you watch how things begin to work for you. God is set to take you from that level where you're struggling, you're trying to survive, where you're going through trying times, and then he brings you to that position of Rehoboth, your place of perfect rest. And he's ready to do it for you if only you can believe him. Now, in your relationship as well, you could be struggling. You could be finding it hard to open your heart to real love. You could be living with a backdrop of failed relationships. You could be loading your mind with all the mistakes and the errors that you've had in time past. But then if you can believe God strongly and then you can change your mind, things will begin to work for you. The Bible makes us to understand that we should not be conformed to the world, but we should be transformed. The transformation that we get, that we become, we embody the transformation because our minds are renewed by the renewing of our mind. It's a present, continuous thing. So you constantly keep renewing your mind. Else, you would fall back to that position of failure, laxity, laziness, and setback and pure, utter depression. So we should renew our minds. That is the position where we need to get to. I remember back then, I had to come, it's like the prodigal son, he came to himself. I had to come to myself. John, you're intelligent, you're smart, you read and you understand, you have the ability to know. So, harness these things and then pick up the book and read. If it's not clicking, talk to someone. There's somebody there who knows it again better than yourself or can give you another perspective. And then you get better and you get better. Now, the same thing in your relationship. You can talk to someone. You can talk to your mentors. You can talk to your friends. You can talk to your spiritual people you respect spiritually, people that their words have been of great benefit to you in time past. You can talk to them. You can ask questions. It's said by our our fathers, that those who ask questions never lose their way. So you can ask questions and then you get to know exactly what to do and how to handle that situation. Surviving in trying times, it's by faith and also by depending on the word of God, and finally by taking decisive steps. Action. You give yourself a call to action. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I was doing before. This was where I found myself. So therefore I need to do this, and then so I can move from where I was before to where I'm supposed to be right now. I'll cite another experience after I left university, and then I went for my youth service. And then shortly after youth service, I think I finished youth service in July of that particular year, 2013, thereabout. And then 2 months, in fact, the last month of my service was when I got, informed about a job I could apply for, and then I applied, sent my passport, sent this and that. And then when I left service in July, by August, I got a text message interview. I went for the interview, and then by September, I went for a series of interviews, and then by September, I got the job. And then, so fresh from the university into the labor market with my shirt and tie, and then I'm going to work from the mainland to the island. And then I was doing that. It was wonderful. And after some time, I started feeling very uncomfortable because of the nature of the job and how it was affecting me. So I said, okay, no, I'm going to leave this one. I can't do this anymore. I've learned a few things here. Let me move on. And then I left the job. And then in a few months to maybe 3 months, I was already on another one. And it was like a roller coaster. Everything was going good and fine. And, I started that from just being a newbie. I became, someone who other people could say, "Oh, Jay, how do we handle this? How do we handle that?" I was taking up a supervisory role. I was growing, learning. And then somewhere along the line, I didn't want to leave, but I got another offer, something looking more promising. And then I wasn't wise enough to ask questions and to, talk to people who were long in that, in the corporate world, to understand how to handle it. Immediately I got that idea of, there's an opening, you just resume, I just resigned. And then I took off. And I went there, I had the training, and it was right there in the training we're now informed that not every one of you here would actually be given this job. You have to write exams, you have to do this and do that. And well, I wrote the exams and I did exceptionally well. But one thing led to the other. It was a federal parastatal, and then, as they say, maybe those who had longer legs than myself. And somehow my name was struck out, and I didn't get the job. Meanwhile, I'd resigned from the other one. Probably if I just excuse myself for a while, taking one month leave or told them I need to travel or something. It was just a mess. And at the end of the day, I became jobless. Yes, jobless. So, and I was there at home with my mom, and it was crazy. It was terrible. Inside, I was crushed and crumbled, but outside, I would try to put up a bold front. I would still talk to my friends, but I knew it wasn't easy for me. I wasn't enjoying myself at all. And at that point in my life, a lot of things went well and a couple of things went wrong. Went well, yes, I was able to grow musically. Those were the years I wrote my best songs. Those were the years, really, most of the material I have now. Then, those were the years I also read. I read books, like physical books, all the books I bought when I was in school and all that. I started reading them. So, I think those 2 years, that hiatus, I became smarter, I became more intelligent. And then it was like I had time in church and for spiritual activities, vigils. There's no excuse. I'm not going to work tomorrow, so I'll be. Anytime you want me to be in church, I'm in church. Anything, okay, John, go here, go there. I was everywhere, And then all through that period, I was believing God. 2 years without a job, without any alert, without my phone. Ping, ping. But I just believed God and what He has spoken concerning my life. At a point, it was becoming messy. Like, it was like nothing was going to happen. So I took it upon myself. I'm going to pray about this. I was sending out CVs, talking to people. And I also went, spent some time in the presence of God. And then I prayed. Like, I told God, please make my life beautiful. I don't understand what is going on. Is this how it's going to be? I do not want it to be this way. And then He did it by miracle. That testimony is for another day. So He did it, and I got another job. And then, looking back, getting the new job and then growing in that job now, I look back and I say, it's been God. And I see the role of faith, me believing that it's going to work out fine. I'm going to be all right. Things will be okay. And that is the encouragement I'm bringing to somebody hearing the sound of my voice today. Things will be okay. Now, you might look at the situation you are. It might look practically hopeless. It might look incurable. But I'm just so certain that things will be okay. How it will happen, it's not something you may be able to fathom ever in your life. But one day you will sit like I'm doing now, and you will say, yes, there was a time it was like this, but now it is like this. Things will work out. Things will turn out perfectly well if we can only put our trust and faith in God. In our relationships as well, there is a thin line between I'm holding on to this relationship because I believe, I have faith it's going to work out. And then between that and saying, no, I'm moving on. I'm not going to sit and advocate that, oh, you're in an abusive relationship, so just stay put and believe God. And no, your life is more important. But I'm talking about scenarios where you're in a relationship, for example, and then you're looking at settling down, and you're trying the requirement to settle down, the finance, getting an apartment, getting this, getting that, and all those things are not seeming to work, and you're trying, you're gathering, you're making effort to be in a ready state to get married. Trust God, keep believing Him, and then find time to sit and analyze exactly what you're doing. I'm not talking about in the relationship. I'm talking about what you're doing as regarding settling down, the maybe what is bringing in money for you. Sit down and look at it and say, okay, do I need to analyze this? Do I need to work on this? Do I need to work on that? So that at the end of the day, if you need to make a change in that thing, or you need to reinvent it, then you can be able to do that. So the role of faith is really very important, because faith is from the inside to the outside. Faith comes from the unknown to the known. It comes from the a posteriori to the a priori. It's not something that just happens. No, it's a conscious thing that you tell yourself, faith is a very, very conscious thought. It's a conscious state of mind. It's a consciousness that comes upon you that you tell yourself, it's time. I need to move. I'm believing God strongly. Yes, I need to move. At the same time, all the things that I need to work on so that I can move from where I was before to where I should be. Then you get on it, and then you start doing it, and then you begin to notice that there is a move from where you used to be to where you should be. In the course of faith, the works involved in the course of faith can digress to so many directions, but be ready to do what is necessary. You might need to ice some people out, I'm sorry to say, in your walk in faith, because you want to move from here to there. You've been in the point of failure, you want to go to success. You might need to change your circle. You need to move from the point of joblessness to be someone gainfully employed, or an entrepreneur that is also employing others. You would have to probably ice some people out. In another scenario, you might need to create a routine for yourself. You might need to say, okay, this is how I used to do things before. Now I'm not going to do it like that anymore. Oh, I wake up at this time of the day, and then I discover I'm feeling very sick, and it's beginning to pattern your life. Then you might need to change that. You might need to, probably in your own case, you just need to maybe start exercising and eating well. It's a blend of both faith and active work to ensure that things don't stay the same. So it is both an encouragement to you, wherever you are hearing this word today, that you can survive through every trying time in your life and become better. Like looking back and then you smile, you're perfect. If you can have that faith, believe strongly, a conscious thought, and then you can work towards it to become who you are supposed to be. Get ready for a new risk. Get ready for a new step. Get ready to change. Get ready to be changed, because in the course of you transiting from where you were before to where you're supposed to be in every area, relationship, marriage, home, career, work, everywhere, you need to there needs to be a paradigm shift. You need to move from this point to this point. So there will be a new move, there will be a new risk, there will be a new plan or a new set of plans. You might actually have to rewrite your goals. You might have to reorder your passion, reprioritize, so that you can achieve and become who you're supposed to be. I believe I'm speaking to someone today, and I want to believe God for you that things will not remain the same again in your life. And then in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, it could even be financially, in a couple of years, you will look back and say, yes, you heard the word that caused your life to change for the better. God bless you mightily. Do remember to, like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to ask questions. We always say that you might have heard this story and you're like, oh, this happened to you, Jay. By the time Nena comes and then she says that, and you're like, whoa, really, it happened? Of course. People have gone through situations you're going through, and it's not of compulsion that you must learn from mistakes. You can actually learn from other people's experiences. So you're free to ask questions. Feel free to drop a comment, ask a question. Feel free to contact us on our social media platforms. On Instagram, at my Instagram handle is at jworship, and my wife's handle is at Charles Nena. You can contact us at any time and ask your questions. We'll be open and ready to answer. I believe God strongly that it's going to be well with you. It is well with you already. Keep dwelling in that position of faith and put that faith to work. God bless you mightily. See you again next Friday. Cheers.